A famous gold dealer, Baron Dube, who was 44 at the time of committing the crime, was in November 2020 sentenced to an effective 10 years in jail for the murder of a rival gang member on 26 September 2018. This happened after a dispute over a gold mining claim at Block 13 Atlas Mine in Eskodini, which is in Matabeleland South. He is alleged to have shot Prince Anton Mvundura, 22. He is alleged to have shot Mvundura in the heat of skirmishes over a mining claim at the mine in Eskodini. He is alleged to have used a Vor 458 caliber rifle. The shooting happened at a mine belonging to Mr. Tendai Musanangura. Baron was arrested by the police the following day while trying to fill up the pits that had been dug by his rivals. Allegations are that he opened fire at his rivals during the skirmishes. Upon his arrest, he was found with a loaded gun with 7 rounds of ammunition. A witness said that they were conducting their mining activities when Baron Dube and his hired gang of thugs, numbering about 20, descended on the mine. Dube was driving a Toyota Land Cruiser. At 11 p.m. on the fateful day, Dube armed himself with 2 guns, a revolver and a rifle, while his accomplices had machetes, axes, shovels, and sticks. It was a frightening scene. The deceased, who was one of the people working at the mine, was shot while fleeing. He was shot through the heart, staggered for a distance of about 20 meters before collapsing. This happened at the height of the skirmishes at the mine, where there had been a gold rush, and Dube had decided to flex his muscles. A post-mortem report on Mvundura indicated that he had died of a gunshot wound, heart destruction, and hypervolemic shock. Bulawayo High Court Judge Justice Maxwell Takuba convicted Dube of murder for fatally shooting Prince Anton Mvundura. In passing his sentence, Justice Takuba said that Dube was a bully who was motivated by greed. He said that Dube was, in the first place, not supposed to be at the mine where he claimed the owner had asked him to manage. During trial, the owner of the mine categorically denied giving Baron Dube permission to enter his mining area. The judge expressed concern over the cases of violence among miners, saying that the courts had a duty to protect the sanctity of human life by passing deterrent sentences. The court passed such sentences, he said, to dissuade the would-be offenders, as crimes in the mining sector had become a danger to society. People like Dube, he pointed out, should be removed from society as he was a danger to young lives. He reminded Dube of his right to appeal against both conviction and sentence at the Supreme Court. Members of the society felt that Dube was either connected or he had used his money to influence the wheels of justice. They felt that his case was taking too long to be finalized. During his trial at the High Court, Dube in mitigation claimed that Mr. Musanangura had granted him the authority to occupy the mine. Musanangura, who was a state witness, however, denied granting the said authority. Dube was represented by Mr. Leopold Mudisi of Mutende Mudisi and Shumba legal practitioners. He told the court that the firearm had accidentally discharged after he stepped on a rock and fell into a pit while fleeing from a mob which was throwing stones at him. He claimed that the mob was baying for his blood. Furthermore, he claimed that he had not realized that he had shot a person until he was approached by the police on the following day. that is on the 27th of September 2018. He also denied that there was a gold rush at the mine. Under cross-examination, Dube failed to justify why he had armed himself with 2 guns if his intention was not to fight anyone. In 2021, Dube successfully filed an appeal with the Supreme Court and was granted $30,000 bail. He applied and he was granted leave to appeal. The Supreme Court, however, dismissed Brian Dube's appeal in July 2022. His appeal against both conviction and sentence was thrown out. In dismissing the appeal, Justice Alphas Chitakunye, sitting with Deputy Chief Justice Elizabeth Gwaunza and Justice Hlegani Mwayera, said that Dube dismally failed to show that the High Court had made a mistake in assessing the evidence placed before it and convicting him of the murder. It is alleged that when Baron Dube got to the mine in Kwesen, he parked his vehicle with the lights shining on the miners. This is how they were able to see that he was armed with 2 guns. The judge said that Dube was not only inconsistent in his testimony, but that his testimony was also improbable. Dube was therefore pronounced as a reckless man who fired his firearm in the direction of his rivals without considering the possible outcomes. The judge said that Dube's actions were deliberate and unjustified and resulted in the death of a young man. This incident has a significance. Cases of people taking the law into their own hands are on the increase, and this is worrying not only the courts of law, but members of society. What could be the problem? Is it selfishness? Is it greed? Is it pure arrogance? Are people driven by money to such an extent that lives no longer matter? This case is significant in many ways. On one hand, it is a case where the mining sector has gone to the dogs, to say the least. The level of chaos in the mining sector leaves a lot to be desired. Associated with that is the rise in criminal activities. The people who are involved in the illegal mining sector are also committing a number of crimes, worrying the police, communities, the courts of law, and central government. It behoves the arms of government to nip this problem in the bud before it gets out of hand, before communities live in perpetual fear. Such people like Baron Dube deserve to be behind bars. Whatever conflict there is, there are channels to be followed. If it is a mining claim, there are papers to prove it. This cannot be allowed to continue unabated, lest there is chaos in community or communities in the areas where the illegal gold miners are operating. May Prince Anton Vundura's soul continue to rest in peace.